everyone, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I'm glad you're here with me today. Whether it's your first time or you've been watching these videos of stories that I do daily. So today I went out and I got some new books, and I like Pooh Bear. Do any of you like Pooh Bear? Well, the one I'm going to read today is, Oh Bother, Someone's Afraid of the Dark. So let's see who that could be. I like this little picture right here. Looks like Piglet's checking under the bed. When my boys were little, they would check under the bed and sometimes even in their closets looking for monsters. Do any of you do that? All right. The Sun, let me tell you who this book's by. It's by Birney. And it's important to know who writes books, because maybe one day you will be an author and you will be writing books. And if I'm still reading then, maybe I'll get to say your name and that you're the author. Okay. The sun was setting as Winnie the Pooh and Piglet headed home after a day of exploring in the 100-acre woods. Piglet, it was a wonderful day, said Pooh. Of course, every day is wonderful if you have a jar full of honey. Pooh peered into the jar he was carrying. Oh, bother, my full pot of honey is almost empty. Look, Piglet said. Tigger and Al are pitching a tent under the trees. Hi, Pooh and Piglet, Tigger shouted to them. I've talked Al into camping out tonight. Oh, that sounds like fun, doesn't it, Piglet, said Pooh as he stopped to wave at their friends. No, it doesn't, Piglet answered quickly, and he went right on walking. He's out of there. Pooh caught up with Piglet. Soon they reached a fork in the path. It was time to say goodbye and good night. But Piglet did not want Pooh to go. Walk home with me, Piglet begged Pooh. You can sleep over. We'll camp out inside tonight, please. Pooh had never heard of camping out inside before. I have a jar full of honey at home, offered Piglet. Sounds like a good idea, said Pooh, patting his tummy. Let's go. As they arrived at Piglet's house, Pooh stopped and pointed up at the sky. Look, Piglet, there's the first star, said Pooh. Let's get inside quick, said Piglet, whose only thought was that the night was getting dark very fast. But I have to make a wish, Pooh protested as Piglet pushed him through the door. Have you ever heard that little saying, starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight? I wish I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. I used to do that when I was a little girl, just like Pooh wanted to do. When they were inside the house, Pooh was surprised to see Piglet push a large table in front of the door. What are you doing? He asked. Can't be too careful, Piglet answered. Oh, said Pooh. He wasn't sure what Piglet meant, but he didn't ask any more questions. He was too busy wondering about Piglet's jar full of honey. Pooh and Piglet settled down for a pleasant evening at home. First, Piglet worked a jigsaw puzzle and Pooh ate honey. The puzzle reminded Piglet of something, so he told the story about the 3 little piglets, and Pooh ate honey. Then Pooh told about the huge honeybee that he had followed this previous spring. I knew there would be gallons of honey waiting just for me because the bee was this big, said Pooh, holding up his paws. Then, sadly, the bee disappeared. After Piglet told Pooh how much he enjoyed the honeybee story, the two friends sang songs. Before Pooh knew it, the honey was all gone, and he was feeling very tired. "I think I'd like to go to sleep now, Piglet," said Pooh. However, Piglet still did not want to go to bed. He suggested they finish the evening with a game of haycorn checkers. Pooh tried to play, but he just couldn't stay awake any longer. "All right, Pooh," Piglet said with a sigh. "I guess it's time to go to bed." Those look like acorns on that. Before they went to bed, Pooh and Piglet brushed their teeth. Standing at the wash basin, it's like a sink, Piglet suddenly saw a horrible sight. There was a shadow of a huge creature with a gigantic stick in his hand. "Pooh," whispered Piglet, trembling. "There's a heffalump. I mean a luffahemp. Oh dear. Well, something awful is about to get us." Pooh looked around and saw the shadow on the wall. He waved his toothbrush at it. "Look, it's waving back at me," said Pooh. "Why, it is me. Actually, it's my shadow." "Oh," said Piglet, "I guess you're right." At last, Pooh and Piglet were ready to sleep. "I think I'll just check under the bed for heffalumps," said Piglet. "Do you see any?" said Pooh. "No," Piglet admitted, "but that doesn't mean they're not there." Piglet climbed into bed. At last, Pooh yawned and switched off the light. "You can't turn off the light," said Piglet, turning it back on again. "We need it on to keep the heffalumps away." "But Piglet, you blocked the door. A heffalump can't get in," Pooh reminded his friend and gave Piglet a reassuring pat. "I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Pooh," said Piglet. And he switched off the lamp. Pooh fell asleep immediately, but Piglet stayed wide awake. "Pooh," he whispered, "I hear something." Pooh did not answer. "Pooh," whispered Piglet a little louder this time, "it's definitely a heffalump something." Pooh still did not answer, so Piglet gave Pooh a push and said, "There's a heffalump right in this room. Don't you hear him going tick-tock, tick-tock?" "Huh?" said Pooh, awake at last. Oh, yes, I do. Don't worry, Piglet, I'll get him." Pooh grabbed his pillow, stood up, and pounced on the heffalump. "Got you," he said. Woo, he got the heffalump. Then Pooh switched on the lamp and lifted the pillow. "What do you know?" Pooh said. "A heffalump looks just like an alarm clock." "Oh, it is an alarm clock," said Piglet, very relieved. Pooh thought for a moment. "Piglet," he said, "if I didn't know better, I'd think you were afraid of the dark." "Well, there are scary things in the dark," Piglet replied, "like heffalumps and jagulars." "But, Piglet, we haven't actually seen a heffalump, have we?" said Pooh. "We thought we saw one, but it was really your shadow," Piglet admitted. Then we thought we heard one, but it was really the clock. I'm glad they're talking about this. Piglet continued, I guess heffalumps are just in my imagination. I guess that's true, said Pooh. So there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Piglet didn't want to answer it, but Pooh decided he would go and ask who was there. Piglet decided it would be safer if he followed Pooh. Who is it? Asked Pooh at the front door. From the outside, a voice answered, It's Tigger and Owl, Pooh. Suddenly, Piglet hid under the table and began shaking with fear. Tigger and Howling Boo? He whispered. That's worse than a heffalump. Pooh was puzzled. That didn't sound like a howling boo, he said out loud. It sounded like someone we know. Think, think, think. You're right, said Piglet. I heard that voice before. It sounded like Owl, said Pooh. He was saying it's Tigger and Owl, Pooh. If it's only Tigger and Owl, there's nothing to be afraid of, said Piglet, greatly relieved. Whew! Pooh helped Piglet push the table away. Then they opened the door. Owl and Tigger were standing outside in the light of a firefly lantern. Come on out, said Tigger, bouncing excitedly. There's something you've got to see. Isn't it awful dark out there? Asked Piglet, who was still a little bit nervous. But wait until you see the lights in the sky, said Owl. See that lantern? Can you see what's in it? The little yellow things? Those are lightning bugs. We don't have them here where I live, but in many other places they are. When Piglet and Pooh stepped outside, they saw the sky was filled with glittering stars. Those star pictures in the sky are called constellations, said Owl, looking up at the sky. There's the big bear, and over there's the little bear. Oh, yes, said Pooh, and I think I see the big honey jar and the little honey jar. Oh, I see it. You see the big bear and the little bear? The big honey jar and the little one? Huh. Show him that terrific picture, said Tigger, bouncing impatiently. Piglet, said Owl, pointing a wing upward. We think that constellation right up there looks like you. Why, it does look like me. And he was looking up in the stars so much, he forgot to be afraid. The four friends watched the starry sky for a long time. Pooh put his arm around Piglet. No need to be afraid of the dark anymore, he said. Now that you know you have a friendly Piglet looking down on you. You're right, said Piglet, and that Piglet doesn't look scared of the dark at all. Oh, what a nice story. And I'm glad that Piglet doesn't have to be afraid of the dark anymore. That's not very much fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. And if you get a little scared when it's dark, I hope this story helps you not to be afraid anymore. Because one thing I know, there's really nothing in the dark that isn't there in the daytime. And you can always ask God if He will protect you and keep you safe, because that's what He wants to do. All right, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I love you, I really do. But even more importantly, God loves you, and He always will. All right, take care and good night.